Hi, this is John with Hilbrands Carpet Care, and today we're going to walk over a carpet that's in pretty bad condition. We have this weird black things periodically, in addition to some red things. We have hard gums, another bright red thing, and this is just one of the many rooms. Some kind of a gummy thing here. So the advantage of our company is that we have a power brush that a lot of people don't have. Here we have a completely hard something or other. That won't come out. There's no way. But it could be cut out and patched. But the question is, at what point is it time to replace? And a lot of people talk to me about this. So if we look at a carpet, we can see the heavy soil, but then you can see the stains that are... So we have this strong makeup spill in this edge, and then just the whole room has spots of makeup. Coming down the stairs, we can see the heavy soil on them, as well as wear. So that wear is something that you can't clean away. So that's where someone that's moving in might have a different take on it, whether it can be cleaned or not. But a landlord generally will continue to rent as long as the carpet isn't looking, heavily soiled. Look at that black. I mean, every inch or two, there's a black spot. Going into the loft here, again, black spots. This is makeup, and with enough degreaser and that rotary brush, it'll break it up, and then I'll be able to steam it out. Okay, so to do the job, we're going to need to use a rotary brush machine, and it has a disbursement tank on it. So as I'm working, I'm both spotting and dispersing from this tank, and when I finally see it dissolve and break up, or the word emulsify, then I know that it's prepared for steam cleaning. It has this lever on the side. I just keep it pulled, periodically release it, just until I can see that it's completely loosened up and ready to go. If I didn't have this, I would not be able to get all of these black makeup stains out. There is another machine that is called a CRB machine, counter-rotating brushes, and you pre-spray it normally, and then you run these brushes on it. They don't do it. You need to be able to disperse in order to break up the soil like we have on this job. This one room with all of the blacks is probably the room that'll be the most telltale, so I'll just show that one. But then when I do the full walkthrough, I'll show you the finished job. Okay, so I'm going to start, before I start the scrubbers, I'm just going to saturate all of this black, this red, with the concentrate. I mean, there's a ton of it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the scrubber, and then while I'm working, I'm going to be dispensing on that and then respraying as I work. Okay, so this is the first pass with the scrubber, and you can kind of see this black area. It looks pretty well blended. We still have the gums, so I'm going to bend down, and I'm actually going to cut the ones that are just on the tip right off. And then I'm going to resaturate spots as I work. So let's get that done. There's some weird things in here that didn't, this one here is kind of gummy. So that one I'll probably get out some solvent and work on that with solvent. But there's a lot of them. So yeah, this is a tough room. Okay, so the soft gummy things, I put a little bit of solvent on. And then I take the flat part of my blade and I rub it. This is both scraping and also getting it all dispersed in there. Do it again. Give it some degreaser to help emulsify it. And then maybe a little bit more right there on the bright spots. Seems pretty well dispersed. Try a little more degreaser just in case it's having some issue. And so that's properly prepped for steaming. Let's go on to this one. Do the same thing. So if I was trying to rub this with a brush, you could see how it wouldn't really break it up. So it wouldn't work as well, I think, 1 more degrees. That's why the knife works really well for this. People used to have what's called a bone scraper, which was kind of the same idea, but it didn't have the sharp edges around the side. Sometimes people would say a table knife, but the idea is not to hit it with the blade part of my flat-tipped carpet knife. Okay, so that's that. Let's see what happens with this one. This one isn't gummy, so I think this is more of an ink, but for some reason it didn't come out with the scrubber, so it's taking a little bit more. All right. Oh, another one over here. Yeah, people hate it if a carpet cleaner adds something for the job. So I tend to only add the price of a scrubber, $50, to run it throughout the house. So on this one, the only extra was that $50, and here I am hand working every spot. So yeah, my pricing structure is kind of customer friendly, but not much to my tax. So it is kind of a tough one when you get a job like this, but that's why people book us so much. Okay, so this is the room now. You can see how much better it looks after scrubbing, and I still have to steam clean it. All the little blue dots, basically I just pinch them, get my fingers on the thing, and then cut with the carpet knife right below and cut it. But I already went through this once, but once you do it, then you see the ones that still need to be done. So let's do those. So when you do it, you just get the blue. You're not really getting much fiber because you've lifted up with your pinch on the stain, and you cut just below your fingertips. So you don't want to cut your fingertips, but just below. So now if you used a scissors, you would dig in and make a huge hole. So that's why I use a carpet knife. All right, this room is prepped. Yay! So how long did that take? Well, let's see. I got here at 10:30, it's now 11:05, so I've already scrubbed 2 rooms. So it's been about a half an hour, and I still have 2 more rooms, so like I said, it's about an hour of scrubbing and upstairs. Okay, so let's take a look and see what we have here. So this is the room power scrubbed. And that was the master. This is the middle room. And it had that hard spot. That didn't come out, but all of the other little reds and blacks and all that goo came out. This is this room, and again, it had that big black in the back, along with blue and reds and everything else going through this. Big old red spot over there and gum all the way through here. So this is properly prepped. The loft. And again, just lots of color stains. They ended up being makeup, and makeup will degrease given enough time. And you saw how I used the carpet knife on that flat end to sometimes abrase it to make it come free. we had a really weird hard spot here. And one of the tricks with that is you take your knife and shave it. And you just do kind of a shave line. So the knife actually is so sharp that it catches on the debris and cuts the fiber off at that point. So this used to be just a hard crystallized red of something. So we don't know what that was, but it wasn't breaking down with degreaser or solvent. So I'm ready to do the cleaning. It's now 11:30, so exactly an hour for the scrub. And it'll probably take me an hour for the cleaning up here as well. So this is just a really slow job, but it's one of those disasters that people will say, is it worth saving? So hopefully by the end of this video, it'll answer your question. Continue. And if it's a grease spot, I might hit with more degreaser, but generally as you go, you also have to work on these bad ones. Here we are on the downstairs bedroom. And this one doesn't have those weird paint and black makeup stains. It doesn't have the gum. This one has just pure soil. So this is what pure soil looks like before it's scrubbed. This is generally as bad as it gets, but that upstairs was next level because it had all these weird things in it, you know, the reds and the blacks and the other ink stains and gums and glue glitter and all kinds of stuff. So this one just has pure grease. So this one is just going to get a lot of degreaser to try and break this stuff free, and then we'll steam it. So here we go. Okay, so here it is after scrubbing, and I'm getting ready for the wand. And basically you scrub until you start seeing it lather a little bit. Sometimes we get a stronger grease, and you'll, when you're running the brush, you'll put some more concentrate on it while you're dispersing from the tank. All right, so let's get this one done, and we'll show you after the steam.
Okay, so here's that downstairs room after. This was before, so pretty bad. And then there's the after again.
Let's go on the upstairs. The stairs look really good. There's a lot of grunge in this one. Center hall. Let's see, where will we start? The master bedroom. So first off, the master bedroom, it had some huge thing there.
Okay, so here's the before, and then here's the after, with just a few wrinkles, which catches some light.
Middle room that has the goop in it, that actually has to be cut out, but everything else has been solved. So if they do want to do a patch, we do those. We'd have to set it up for a later date. And she said she'd just ask the owner if you cared. This is the one with all that black that had over here. So that looks pretty good. We had some more black and some blues and all kinds of things going through this room. In the closet, we had the huge red stains. Actually, there were a lot of red stains.
Okay, so here's the before again, and then again, here's the after.
Throughout this room. So that's that room. And then finally the loft. And I guess I would actually call this a bonus room. She called it a loft. This loft smells a lot of cigarette smoke. I don't like that. So I told her that I was going to open the windows. So let me pause and do that. All right. So no screens, of course, in two of the rooms. Open the other ones, though, like the master and the other room. And that's about it.
So one time I opened windows that didn't have screens and a bird flew in, and then I spent like half the day trying to get it out. So never again. If there's no screens, leave them shut. But if there are, definitely open them. Helps with that kind of smell. So everything came out really well, and I think part of it was just working through everything that I would encounter as it happened. We also had a very strong scrubber that dispersed. I was able to put down some really strong degreaser on top of that so I could just really see it break that soil free before I started the very high strength steam cleaning. And I was also willing to bend down and hand spot or cut or clip or whatever to get these things out. Is it worth it? Yeah, it's worth it. You do have to understand that there is some wear in this carpet. It is probably what you'd expect at a rental. So I think overall people are going to be happy with that. The permanent stain that was upstairs, I can cut that out and patch it if someone wanted to. I think the fact that I left the lady with a quote meant that the property management firm would probably not charge her more than what I gave for the quote for the repair. To cut that out and patch it. We patch it from a closet and then use our carpet to patch the closet. And that's usually what property managers expect for those kinds of things. And overall, I think it's a really good job showing you what is potentially out there when people really want to work to get something clean. Give me a thumbs up if this video has helped you. And also, if you're in the Temecula area, give us a call. Thank you. This has been John with Hilbrands Carpet Care. Bye-bye.